Hello, it's Jimmy. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about submitting to a plan, the one that I had created for myself. It sucked. So it was time to go looking around for some new info. I'd always been a saver. I had no problem saving money. When we bought our house in 2008, I thought things were pretty good, even though the economy was not great worldwide for those of us that lived through it. I at that time didn't really feel quite the pinch that some other folks did, but nonetheless, the economy was not great. Had a 401k from a prior employer that I had rolled over into an IRA, and the value of that got cut right in half. The value of it. Now, I didn't lose money because I didn't sell anything out of it, but it was still like, oh my, things are really upside down in our world. No, my wife and I had been contributing to our employer retirement plan. The nice thing was that both of our employers had a match to a certain point. So that's good. We were taking the money up to the match at least. But I figured that amount was fairly minimal. So I wanted to know what would be a good amount to go up to, dollar amount or percentage, whatever. So I went looking for advice. I had at my work a representative from the company they used for their plan administration. He came in one day and was offering to sit down and talk to people for a couple minutes. I'm like, hey, this is great. So I sat and rapped with this old guy, and he really just was kind of farting me off. I don't know why. I don't think he looked up my account balance to say, well, this guy's not worth dealing with. But uh, I I suspect because he never came back around that he was on his way out. He was probably retiring himself, and he just was not having it with young people asking questions. Perhaps he didn't know how to answer the question, but I don't know. Maybe he's restricted. I don't know what the regulations are. I know I'm not a financial advisor, so I probably am not allowed to tell people what they should do, or maybe I have more freedom to say, this is what you should do, but I don't know. I just wanted a number. I mean, he was just not giving it to me. It was very frustrating. And I thought, well, what the heck? What's the point of having you come around if you can't help people? Now, I understand this was just a short meeting at work, but he wasn't trying to build relationships. We'll just say that much. Okay, that's fine. I moved on from there. Well, it turns out my wife and I had some insurance products through a company that we don't do business with anymore. So I thought, well, I'll ask them. Like, what would be a good number, a good percentage based on what we're doing? Well, starting a phone call with those people is basically opening a door to a sales pitch. Well, let's get together. Let's talk about this. This is good. You're thinking about your future. Okay, sounds great. I don't like to be sold things. I was a car salesman very briefly in my early years. I know that sometimes it's easy to sell things to salesmen. It isn't to me. I kind of repulsed by sales tactics because I know what they are. I learned all the bad ones. So when I experience them, I get turned off pretty quick. So I felt a little slimy after dealing with these folks. So again, I thought, well, I'm just going to figure it out on my own. To the internet, looking around, all kinds of weird financial advice. I did come across one person, and they said 15%, but only after all your other debts are paid off. I'm like, okay, well, I got the percentage number. That's cool. I don't know about this debt thing, but whatever. Even though my wife and I were budgeting, uh, I had been creating a budget spreadsheet since we got married in 2003. And before that, I had one for work. For work related things, I'm pretty familiar with creating spreadsheets and doing numbers and manipulating numbers. Manipulating makes it sound like I'm a politician, messing around with stuff. That's not how it is. Even with the budget, I didn't like that we weren't saving as much as I was hoping for. And we really didn't have an emergency fund. There was no cushion when things went bad. And I'm always wanting to improve, things that I'm working on. There's always ways to do things better. even though I'm pretty confident in my ability to create budgets and processes, there's always room for improvement. I think what helped me was that I'm very open to constructive criticism in my plans. I'm open to suggestions. And if somebody points out a weakness, I'm willing to hear them out. Now, I might tell you to pound sand if I don't think it's going to work. I mean, I'm not intransigent, but at the same time, it's like, make sure you know what you're talking about. Well, I realized my plan wasn't working anymore for what I wanted it to do. And I remembered, okay, the guy that said 15% for retirement, what else has he got going on? Well, it was Dave Ramsey. I didn't realize that at first. And okay, that name kind of sounds familiar. Well, yeah, because a couple years prior, my wife had mentioned that a neighboring church was going to be doing this Financial Peace University class and asked if I wanted to go to it. And I was like, well, no, I mean, I think we got it figured out. Well, yeah, it was that same cat. Um, and now I realize like millions of people know who he is. I'd never heard of him before. It's like, okay. But I have a pretty receptive attitude towards new information. Again, as long as it's not stupid. But okay, let me listen to more of this guy and see what he's got going on. Well, here, this fella has not necessarily created a plan, but knows the way this stuff works. He's been doing it with millions of people. A lot of folks in the US and all over the world have gone through Financial Peace University. So my skepticism of like, well, so at the end of this, do we get like a box of soap? Do we have to sell, or what is this FPU business? It's not like that. You just learn a lot. And I figured, okay, we'll follow this guy's stuff. If it doesn't work, we can bail out and go on our own way. It's not a MLM. It's not something weird. It is a little bit against the grain of our culture, but I thought I'll listen. I'll listen. I saw a lot of positives in his plan, and thought, well, it's a little bit more comprehensive than what I'm doing. It involved more than just money. I mean, you're looking at insurance and estate planning and retirement saving. There was a little bit more to it than just like how to save money and what to do for retirement. And I kind of like that. And it's all wrapped into biblically based principles. So I'm like, okay, I'm on board with that. We did do the 9-week Financial Peace University course. I got the kit with the DVDs back when DVDs were a thing, and we just did it at home. I don't think at the time we got interested there were any classes available around us. Then we did an in-depth review of all of our financial situation. We looked at our income, we looked at debt, we looked at our insurance, all of our insurance products, homeowners, auto, life, and just looked at where there were holes in that and acknowledged that we actually had a couple bad financial products that we had allowed ourselves to be sold by some salespeople. And we wanted to get rid of debt completely. We thought, okay, this is fine. Let's try it. If you ever want to get back into debt, there's plenty of places and companies that are willing to suck you back in. No problem. We went whole hog. We did all of it. If you're familiar with the Ramsey baby steps, we are beyond baby step 7 because we have no debt. We have no mortgage. We don't have credit cards, loans, nothing, no student loans. We owe nobody for anything. For us, submitting to a plan that other people had worked, that was somewhat perfected at this point, and just scrapping mine that didn't work, I was like, great, I'm going to do this. We went in, did it all. It's worked out perfectly. And strangely, people that kind of cherry pick things off of this, the baby steps, the Ramsey plan, and they say, well, this doesn't work, or, that's not going to work for me, or this or that. I don't know what to say because we did it. We followed it exactly as it's laid out. And my goodness, it actually works. So you can't be surprised when your end result is good when you follow the instructions. And you can't be surprised the other way when you don't follow the instructions and the thing doesn't work at the end. We're living proof of that. We actually got to take a little visit to Ramsey headquarters in Nashville and met Dave Ramsey and John Deloney. And it's like, hey, I know you're not going to be surprised, but the stuff that you're teaching actually works. And here we are to kind of let you know. That was fun. That's about it for today. Thanks for watching. Hope you're having a great day.